Hey, we're back. I was sitting here waiting for it to go live again. Switch that to live chat, and we are in business. Sorry for the crash. My Streamlabs had a fucking seizure, and yeah. You didn't miss anything. I literally paused as soon as it happened. So yeah, hopefully the reinstall fixed it. Kind of just go from there. Hey, my chamber's nice. Cash money. Now, even though they've presented me with a lot of these nice lady characters, you know, quite attractive, I don't think any of them will be a love interest, because it's very clear that Corvo and the Empress had a relationship. It's heavily implied.
Is required to speak to the City Watch at once.
There's a thing there, and I must have it, but I get the feeling I might need upgrades, because that jump is pretty big. 100 smackaroos from that, not bad.
Pleased to meet you, Master Corvo. I saw you at court in happier days, but you might not remember. I was once a close ally to the Lord Regent, Hiram Burroughs, back when he was just the spy master. He's one manipulative bastard, I can tell you that. My furnishings have been installed at last with no small amount of complaining by that antiquated boatman. The others have no idea what it's like to suffer as I have. Speaking of which... Wallace! Please breathe 2 bottles of Dunwall Red, never mind which, and fetch a clean glass. Well, I'll begin again tomorrow.
Wait, no, had I read that one? Yeah, no, I had read that one. Yep, no, we read that one. Aha! Just gonna check the surrounding area for loot, because if I like get all the lootables while I'm here now, I won't have to worry about it later. Abandoned apartment key needed. Okay. Is that something I can find now, or is that like... Is that like a mission thing later on, perhaps? Might be a thing later on, I guess. Oh, hello. This looks fishy. This seems like a pretty good place to hide something. Devs, reveal your secrets to me. Is there loot here? There's no death, like, chompy fish around here. And that's an invisible wall. Okay. There's nothing out this way? Yeah, it's looking pretty barren. What are these? Just plants. Thought I might have been able to harvest them. Oh, just more plants. Nothing interesting. I kind of expected something to be like out here under the water, like just a sneaky little pickup. Well, that screams you can climb me. Legit looks like a giant ramp. Oh, because it might be. Can I just get here normally? Probably. Oh wait, no, I might be onto something here. No? Oh man, this looks so promising. Maybe it still is. Although that's definitely something. That just screams, I'm a pathway. Ha ha! Now we're cooking. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Did you do that?
Is this not something? You shitting me?
Did you do that?
Oh man, is this really not something? Maybe I drop down here or some shit? It's just puts me on the other side of this. Okay.
I'll be crafting your weapons and gear. All custom work. For you, I will create the tools of a master assassin. No! This cannot happen now. The tank of whale oil is running. Will you get a new tank from upstairs, please, while I hold this in place? Be careful. Oil's unstable. When it explodes, there's a terrible mess.
The Academy teaches that absurd idea that the energy in whale oil arises from the need to maintain life functions at extreme ocean depths. The pressure and the cold are too much to endure without it. I speculate that a human being might, by a process of adaptation, produce high-energy humors in the body. I could build a tank that would slowly increase pressure on a subject over a long period of time and then observe them for years if need be to see if the formulation of energetic substances develop. Surely the Empress would be able to furnish me with facilities subject to the necessary legal amnesty.
Perfect. Now plug it in. Perfect. Thank you, Cole. Here, see? The assassin's mask. You're a wanted man, so everyone in the city knows your face, but this mask will mean terror to them. If you just hold still, the fit must be precise. There. Can you see normally? Send the lens out of alignment. There. Better now? I could create more for you. Upgrades for your gear, weapons, munitions. But our situation here is desperate. Scavenge the city for valuables and I will resell them on the black market. That should give us the money to craft the things you need. Tell me what I can make for you. You must be exhausted. I advise that you get some sleep. Your life will get even more difficult soon. You should rest while you can. Very well. You know best. Let me know if you need anything more.
I got shit to do, Piera. Sokolov technology in the new age. Wait, is this Sokolov? The fuck, where did he go? He's so fast. Oh, that's Pierre. It is through no fault of my own that the average citizen has expressed a preference for Sokolov's elixir over my own formula, sold as Pierre's remedy, a name I did not choose if you must know the truth. The public has spoken its usual message of idiocy, spending their coin as a means of selecting Soko's formula over mine, which I believe to be equal if not superior. Much has been made over the popularity of these concoctions as a means of resisting this remarkable new plague. I say remarkable because this stream works with an efficiency we have not seen in the history of the Empire. This plague, now making its way through the city of Dunwall, is unrivaled in its effectiveness. I have studied it within the blood of those so afflicted, and it's nearly perfect, elegant in fact. And while it's true that Pierre's remedy and Sokolov's elixir are known to protect the body against the plague equally, my own has properties, not fully understood, which relate to the mind itself and the spirit. It is in this way that my formula wins out. Here is where one should pay attention to this contest, for you see, Sokolov's elixir, with its emphasis on the brute animal body, is a crass goo better suited for livestock. The subtle and secret variance in the key ingredients making up Pierre's remedy ensure that it works on the higher functions that separate mankind from the mindless blue-jawed hagfish swimming in the Wrenchbane River. Sounds like his was a bit of a performance-enhancing drug as well as an elixir. Commissioned by the Lord Regent in the face of the growing plague crisis, a dead counter is a position that will only be given to officers, usually of junior or middle grades, in most matters of edict or curfew enforcement. These officers will defer to the acting officer on duty. However, any dead counter will have command in situations related to the plague and handling of the dead, including those with late-stage plague symptoms called weepers in common parlance. Starting in the month of rain, interested officers may apply for the test, and if accepted, for the 2-week training tour. Pay will be administered in coins and rations of elixir, at 1.5 normal pay grade. Remarkably, each specimen I had the pleasure of studying during the voyage possessed some minor variants of physiology. On the second leg of the trip, east of Tivia, the crew hauled aboard a female, some 42 inches in length. I estimate she weighed 35 tons, and the ship sat low, rocking side to side through the night with her thrashing. By candlelight, I took her apart, sketching and taking notes. Against her bellowing, I cut into the massive tentacles around her mouth. Within, I found row upon row of teeth, and a baleen running across the upper jaw. Through this broom-like structure, I assumed she filtered food from the water that was too small to be chewed. Excerpt from the founder of Greaves Whale House by Ebenezer Greaves. Out at sea, they secure the beast with hooks, with lines cast from the main ship and several smaller boats. Buoys keep the whale from diving deep. Once it's caught, a larger hook is driven through the tail, which is used to hoist the creature up through the chute. They moan and bellow for some time as the men get them onto the deck, then lift them into the scaffolding overhead. The ship adjusts its prow and returns to port in Dunmore, where the crew works on the great creature, slicing off the fattest parts while it still lives. Oh my god, that's hardcore. Sokolov no longer has the upper hand with regards to supplies of whale oil. The good Admiral has paid for the installation of my own system, which will enable me to work in this place. The oil tank dispenser, when activated, will produce an empty vessel for filling. When the empty tank is held near the oil tank refill pump, the magnetic attractor should tape the tank and lock it in the correct configuration. Using the lever will begin the refueling process. Once refueling is completed, the tank can be removed and placed in service. Extreme caution must be used in handling the full tanks, they are quite unstable. The system is sound and well engineered. It appears that the Greaves Oil Company has done something correct for once.
The Academy teaches that absurd idea that the energy in whale oil...
That seems fishy as crap.
Astonishing.
I can't return it. Okay.
You've met Piero. Good. You'll want to get some rest now. You'll be
Pew,
needed
pew.
soon.
I don't know where I sleep. The outsider walks among us.
I once served under Admiral Havelock. Captain Havelock then. I don't know if he remembers me, but I fear it's rude to ask. I don't want to embarrass him.
Mysteries of Pandisia. At the Academy of Natural Philosophy, they speak of the Pandisian continent as a place of wonder, where all of life has intertwined and blossomed across aeons, producing a vibrant ecology unrivaled in a civilized world. The overseers from the Abbey of Every Man, by contrast, talk of horrors and heresies, of cults of sub-men engaged in brutal, perverse rituals. The few who have travelled to the far continent and come back to the Isles, those who have actually touched the soil there, have returned with notes that describe vast deserts, deep jungles, and outlandish creatures that defy belief. Once in a generation, a great effort is mounted to build a colony there, in hopes of this someday growing into a port city to rival Dunwall itself. But to date, these attempts have all ended in madness and failure. Fuck. Also, my dude, if that's where you're sleeping, there's lots of room inside. Bruh, you don't have to sleep out here, rough it. Damn, you got some legs, dude. Holy shit. Can't believe it just let me climb that. That's fucking nuts. Alright. Oh. Well, I probably didn't want to do that. What the f- I've never been here. This is cool as hell. Secret loot, mayhaps? Oh, this is my fucking room. Never mind. God damn it, I thought I was so clever. Huh. Just came through that. Ah, yeah, this is fine. Yep, nothing out of the ordinary here.
Hello, Corvo. Your life has taken a turn, has it not? The Empress is dead. Her precious daughter Emily is lost somewhere in the city, and you will play a pivotal role in the days to come. For this, I have chosen you and drawn you into the void. I am the outsider, and this is my mark. There are forces in the world and beyond the world, great forces that men call magic. And now, these forces will serve your will. Use this newfound power, my gift to you. Come find me.
Press right-click to execute a fast and deadly forward dash through the world. You can also use it to move upwards, but the distance is reduced. Aiming at ledges will allow you to blink forwards and climb up. Hold right-click at the target destination with precision. A blue sphere indicates that you should reach your destination. The blue indicates that you will climb up. Okay. Okay, well that's... Piero's spiritual remedy. Corvo, I am very sad. They say you're dead like mother, but I'm gonna put this note in a bottle and throw it into the river because I don't believe them. Living here is very strange. I do not like it, so please come for me if you can.
Days that follow, your trials will be great, Corvo.
Hey Christopher, how are you, man?
Seek the ancient runes bearing my mark in the lonely places of your world, and at shrines raised in my name. These runes will grant you powers beyond those of other men. To help
You just gave me the
find
ability to
these
blink,
runes, I give you
flash,
this,
so...
the heart of a living thing, molded by my hands. With this heart, you will hear many secrets, and it will guide you toward my runes. no matter how they may be hidden. Listen to the heart now, and find another rune.
Press. Okay. Gripping your heart in your left hand allows you to locate bone charms or runes even through walls. The heart beats and lights up when you're facing a bone charm or a rune, and it beats faster as you get closer. It'll also whisper secrets if you press right click while targeting a personal location.
This place is the end of all things, and the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty good, man. Going on a bit of a nostalgia trip, going back and playing a game I never bothered finishing.
All of time is meaningless here. Neither seconds, nor centuries. Someday this place will devour all the lights in the sky.
I guess I meant to drop down. Yeah, looks like it. Oh, hang on, here we go. Was I not meant to drop down? Oh, I am. Yeah, okay. Ah, that's handy.
The one who walks here is all things. Cradle songs of comfort and bones gnawed by tea.
Once you've collected some runes, open the journal and go to the powers section to exchange them for powers. Runes can be collected or used to create supernatural... Okay. Pretty much just said the same thing twice. It wants me to level vitality. I'm assuming. Oh, it's just letting me know I can do either of these things. For health. I don't know any better.
How you use what I have given you falls upon you, as it has to the others before you. And now I return you to your world, but know that I will be watching with great interest.
Right on. Rapidly realizing, oh shit, that wasn't a dream. Fuck? Why did it just give me so many things? What? Fuck? There's so much stuff. There's so much shit in here, what the hell? Except for the ramblings of a street denizen. Of course I'll tell you, dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. All the dreary days of my life are like windows of a house. From the kitchen I can see out into the garden, where the leaves and stalks are brown and bug-eaten. You can see a little lump of dirt where something was wrapped in a blanket and laid to rest along with the rows of twisting vines. The front room looks out into the street, where the neighbors are all setting fire to their homes, barricading themselves inside, warm and snug, dearie. Don't forget about the bedroom either. It sees into a dreary alley, where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. The first two are hitting him with sticks, and the girl with them is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have those bones, to boil them in a pot. Oh god. No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one that you'd want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine people. Vera more, everyone would say. Your house is as grand as Boiler Manor. Better even. Your dinners are lavish and your parties are the best. When that young Sokolov came to paint my portrait, I was nearly still in my prime. Radiant, he said. And he was just barely a man, so young, painting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted a portrait by his hand, all my friends. I was the only one, dearie, wet with his point glistening on the canvas for a pretty coin. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I weren't always at home. No, we travelled together, he and I, to the far ends of the Isles, beyond even, all the way to the red cliffs of Pandysia, to dig in the rock and crawl through the caves, holding up candles and squinting at the walls. Many precious things we came upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. All those marks and bones, carved so deep and polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband. Then I learned to boil them and carve them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home, he loved them so. All the time he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I could see it in his eyes. Even though his tongue was still, Granny. Like Granny, he would say to me. Carve these bones for me, make me another present. And he went so far. All the way to Dunwall Tower, the royal headsman himself now. My little mute boy and his shiny sword. What the fuck is happening? Better bones is what I needed, you see. Better bones to carve and polish, scrape and gleam. My dear old husband was always tired. I made him soup, and then he was sick. Better bones was all for my little mute boy. I carved in the name of the one with black eyes. And after my husband was gone, giving away his birthday gifts... Oh god, she cooked up the husband. I didn't want to live there anymore. I'm now old... Oh wait, so now I'm old and don't have any money to give my presents. Oh, don't... Fucking hell. I'm having a stroke. Let's try that again. So now I'm old and don't have many to give my presents to. It's sifting through the garbage for granny rags and feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have tea, dearie. Especially those rude louts on Bottle Street. Slackjaw and his boys, always meddling with an old woman just trying to make her way. In the end, we'll be together with him. You and me in the dreary night, the stars above and below. And always the one with black eyes, dreary. So I'm assuming that's the outsider that she's talking about. I don't remember any of this stuff being in this room, so this might be like the DLC shit, because I bought the definitive edition. So I'm assuming that that's what's going on here. Hey babe, could you close that curtain for me? It is like right in my eyes. Thank you. Excerpt from the personal memoirs of Hiram Burrows, dated several years earlier. This is the 4th day, month of high cold. Progress continues on the suppression of gang activity in the distillery district, but more slowly than I expected. The ruffians operating there have been cunning, I'll grant them that, but it's only a matter of time. I'll see their leaders flogged in public and sent beneath the royal executioner's blade. If I had my way, that mute bastard would be working night and day, removing the heads that need removing. Wait, is Corvo the mute? Oh, shit! Okay. Internally, the Empress does not seem pleased with my investigations. It seems it is beyond her thinking, against her very nature as a trusting person, to believe that traitors are among us. Traitors move among us. But I know they do, they must. No, Jessamine would rather spend her time with the Royal Protector. At least he's likely to stop any immediate threat to her safety, but a strong arm is not what's needed against those who would undermine us. How will Corvo's sword stop a poisoned wine glass or an explosive delivered by courier? It will not. There are many threats around us, threats requiring meticulous efforts to police. What's up? I love you too. Night-night. Young Lady Emily is undisciplined, I'm afraid. Here within Dunwall Tower, she receives instruction from the finest tutors known in the Isles, yet her mother spoils her and she spends most of her time lost in imagination, wasting her time drawing or asking Corvo to teach her to fight with wooden sticks. The girl might rule the Empire one day. Every moment spent at play is a moment wasted. Shoring up security for the main gate leading to Dunwall Tower has been another pet project of late. To think that back in his day, Emperor Kaldwin left it open to the public during the day, allowing anyone to come and go as they please. If it were up to me, I'd seal off access to the streets entirely, but the Empress won't hear of it. The waterlock is much easier to protect, and if it was the only way into the tower, traffic in and out would be greatly reduced. Someday the wrong person is going to slip in and will suffer for it, mark my words. No amount of security is excessive when it comes to protecting heads of state. The Empress also disapproves of my plans for the Sokolov devices. Sokolov himself has no interest in security, of course, but he's vain and therefore keen to see his inventions deployed in any fashion. This wall of light he's been tinkering with has promise. In any case, at least I was able to convince the Empress to upgrade the pistols carried by officers of the watch. I'm gonna go watch a movie real quick, and if you're still streaming, I'll join back. No worries, man. Why do I worry so when no one else seems to care? If I ever fall asleep, Will it all sink into the ocean? Will the rough things climber over the walls and fill themselves on our flesh? This is what I see in the same dream several times each month. If only I had more say in things, more authority, I could protect us all. Perhaps I've been working too hard. Dinner and an evening, a conversation with a certain lady of refinement might be in order. Perhaps somewhere in the estate district. Oh, he's just stuck it out. Rumors and sightings, Dowd. For over a year now, I've lived away from the Abbey, without the company of my overseer brethren or the guidance of the blind sisters of the oracular order. Days have passed with me sleeping in the dens of cut-purses, murderers, and worse, and the nights have seen me prowling through the worst alleys and wretched corners of Dunwall. I have taken my meals with killers, at times I've ventured beyond the city walls, meeting in forgotten graveyards and the outlying ruins, frequented by those of ill means. My beard has grown long, and I wear the weathered clothes of bits... My beard has grown long, and I wear the weathered clothing and bits of boiled leather favoured by the Bottle Street and Hatter gangs, and by those rough men and women who make their trade knifing others in return to coin. My hands have run red with blood, it's true, but I have selected my targets with care, choosing among those criminals and heretics who were not fit to live, executing them justly and using their deaths as a means of building my reputation. So far, this trick has allowed me to make my name amongst my murderous colleagues, without taking the lives of the innocent. My goal is singular. I must impress the assassin named Dowd in order to get close to him. Of all the practitioners of black magic we have tracked, none concern the Abbey as much as Dowd. It is said that his mother was a witch from the archipelagos off the Pandistan coast, taken captive by pirates venturing far from the Isles. According the legend, by the time the ship returned, the captain was dead and the witch controlled the crew, with Dowd still a shadow in her belly. The earliest stories tell of a gang killer without mercy, moving among the shopkeepers and the city watch officers of Dunwall like a reaper through wheat. Then a period of silence followed. Years we now believe he spent travelling the Isles, studying anatomy and the occult in the great halls of learning, and hidden in basements frequented by fellow dabblers in the forbidden arts. Dowd even purported to have spent a winter in the Academy of Natural Philosophy itself, and for a time, before a schism developed, he counted the Brigmore witches among his allies. All the while he honed his craft, and it is during this time that we believe he began to consort with the outsider. New reports have emerged of a dusky-skinned assassin, paid by the elite to eliminate their rivals in Dunwall, and in the major cities across the Isles. Those who saw him and lived are numbered by the handful, and all of them reported something strange. He appeared and vanished like smoke. From a nearby rooftop, he gestured, and a noble woman scuffled from her balcony, falling to her doom on the cobblestones below. Most recently, as this new thread of plague has risen in Dunwall, Dowd has been seen leading a gang of men in dark leather, dressed as factory whalers in their vapor masks. They seem loyal beyond comprehension for one so unworthy, leading me to wonder if some of his magic is dedicated to lulling their minds, enslaving them. Only a month ago, one young girl claims to have come upon a strange scene. Carrying a bottle of milk home to her crippled brother, she was taking a shortcut through the tailor's district. In a narrow street, she passed beneath a window and heard unusual sounds from within. Pushing aside the ruddy curtain, the girl saw into an abandoned apartment, used by miscreants for gambling and trading haberweed. An occult shrine had been erected against the far wall, which she recognized from the teachings given by her local overseer. A man she described as resembling Dowd was kneeling before the shrine, muttering to an unseen spirit as if in an argument. He took a carving made of pale bone from the altar before him, and the lights all went out in a gush of unclean wind. Quiet as a field mouse, she slipped away, running until she reached her home. There can be no doubt, Dowd is an agent of the outsider and must die, for there is no limit to the evil this man might do. This is my solemn oath and the great purpose of my life. Until Dowd is dead and his corruption has been purged from the world, I will continue to move among the depraved, winding my way toward him. I will not drop my guise or don my overseer's mask again until Dowd breathes no more. It's fucking hardcore, dude. Alright. Is that everything that was in here? Like, there was so much crap. Fuck. Yeah, Bottle Street Gang. You want the chin wag on Slagjaw? What he was like when he was young, before he got his name? He's got a cool head now, but it weren't always like that the days before he was the boss of the Bottle Street Gang. Time was, young Slackjaw wasn't such a reasonable man. Like most of us, he grew up on the street, running with a pack of ragamuffins, the fuck, and avoiding the law, pinching whatever he needed. Dark-haired and dark-eyed, smoking a pipe by the age of 10. For them born into the brothels or coming from the orphanages, it was either the gangs or working with the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some got pressured into the navy or put down in the mines, run by the Pendleton or Boyle families. Ooh, Pendleton, not great. As hard as it was in the streets, as hungry as we all got, at least we were free. By the time we weren't little uns anymore, Slackjaw was the one to watch, usually calling the shots when we took down the farmer's cart or a sidewalk street vendor. He'd come up with the plan, give everyone some sort of part to play, and decide on the split. Most of us just went along, because we learned fast that we made out better like that. More food, more coin, plus none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw when he was in a rage. This is long. He worked on a couple of big jobs with Black Sally across town, and that was enough to get the attention of the other bosses. He wasn't just a street kid anymore. Now he was an up-and-comer, which meant trouble. Another guy who fancied himself as such was Mike the Fish, who was working his way up and running the protection racket among the factory women. One fine evening, we were all taking in a bawdy show in the theatre house. Mike the Fish and his lot are in there, in the cheap seats too, just down the aisle from us. Mike gets a wild idea. He wasn't big on planning, and throws a heavy ceramic spittoon at Slackjaw, hits him square in the face and breaks his jaw. We look to see if there's going to be a blood brawl, but Slackjaw just points at the door and we all leave, with Mike laughing at our backs. Waking up the next day without telling us why, Slackjaw motions for us all to follow. He still can't say a word, so we just come along. We stop at the docks and Slackjaw pays coin for it, a heavy chain covered in hooks. It's for fishing in the deep, something you'd attach to a long line off the side of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links, and there are sharp hooks coming off it at different angles. Slackjaw's got that thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling at his side. Not sure if he knew where Mike the Fish was staying, but when we reach his girl's house, Slackjaw throws a bottle through the window, just like that. It's almost noon, there's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike pokes his head out, looking wide-eyed and baffled. When he sees Slackjaw out in the street, a look comes over his face that gives me the willies. Pure murder. Mike comes out the side door, bellowing like a bloodocks, holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. When they come together in the street, Slackjaw spins and the shark hook bites deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams, but Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with the chain wrapped around his left arm, hook sunk into Mike the Fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. Mike couldn't fight very well, hooked like that, and using his left hand, but he was a big guy and it took a lot of stabbing before he went to his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet. It just kept going and going, until finally it was just Mike the Fish blubbering, crying like a baby, and the sound of Slackjaw's knife. What's that mean?
I just came in and I sat over there, and
Uh-huh.
Mimi wouldn't let me.
Amelia, let your sister sit down, please.
I was like, Mimi, put it in the middle so we can both see.
Okay, go on. Let Lily watch with you, bub. When it was over, and here's the brilliant part, Slackjaw took out a note and stuck it to Mike's face with a nail. It just said, if you want a job, come to Bottle Street. Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple of months, but word spread fast. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent out letters to the other bosses, telling them that he was running a brand new crew over on Bottle Street. Most of them laughed or beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-eyed Trish even came back missing a thumb, but apparently Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. A week later, 4 of the bosses were dead. Seemed like a series of unfortunate events, but everyone knew better. One shot dead by the watch while standing in the middle of a meat market, another slipping and falling into the water, out cold. One of the older bosses found in a bed with his belly opened wide and a Tivian pear stuffed into his mouth. Still not sure what that meant. And Sheila Barnsworth was found bubbling in a cauldron of hot wax. Holy shit. Slackjaw sent out another set of letters, officers to the underbosses, telling them they'd be treated fair as peers. He even sent Green-Eyed Trish with one of the letters. All of the underbosses accepted. I think my stream is having a stroke again. God damn it. What's up, Bean?
There's a baby magpie in our yard.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, does it need help?
It's not in its nest.
Okay, I'm coming.
It's in our backyard.
I'm coming.
Bonnie,
Tina, I need to use your phone, bud. Calm down, girls. I gotta give the bird sanctuary a call. We got a fledgling magpie that's fallen out of its nest, the poor little bugger. We got a local bird sanctuary that's a fantastic volunteer mob that'll be able to take care of us, so I'm trying to give them a call. Poor little bugger was in my front yard. Gotta give her a phone call and see if she can come get it.